say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly.
And that has upset the liberals bigger than the city of Dallas, Texas. And the liberal Democrats, especially those up in Washington, D.C., have lost their damn minds over how dare you step in and try and make shit better. How dare you interfere with law and order? President Trump, as you just heard, announced what amounts to a federal takeover of law enforcement in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. He declared that he would deploy the National Guard and invoke an obscured provision of the city's charter to take control of the district's Metropolitan Police Department and fix this problem once and for all. But first, you have many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. If you haven't already done so, whether you're watching us live tonight on the YouTube channel or the Rumble channel or over at X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn or Facebook, please subscribe, share the channel and the videos with your friends and family and on your social media platforms. That's how we continue to build this platform and reach those that we care about and that care about America. So, in doing so, trying to make things better in the nation's capital, critics were quick to dismiss Trump's claims as fear-mongering, kind of like what they did in LA or Aurora, Colorado, for instance. They pointed to rapidly declining rates of violence over the past year. Any comparison to a war-torn country is hyperbolic and false, the mayor of New York, Mayor Bowser, told MSNBC on Sunday. So, let me kind of spell this out for you, liberals and Democrats. When a governor or mayor lets violence spiral out of control and puts public safety at risk, the federal government has a duty to step in and restore order. We've seen it happen in Aurora, Colorado, Los Angeles, California, and now Washington, D.C. This is not, should it be, or nor should it be a partisan issue. It's a public safety issue. Law-abiding Americans are fed up with watching Democrats run their cities into the ground. Furthermore, we're sick and tired of watching liberal judges and liberal DAs let these criminals back out on the streets that continue terrorizing citizens. So, I know exactly what the liberals are going to say to this, which they're already doing, and the liberal Democrats up in Washington, D.C. So let's first talk about their talking points, and then we're going to dig into facts. So is violent crime rising in Washington, D.C.? Not according to the latest data from Washington's Metropolitan Police. Their statistics show that violent crime spiked in Washington, D.C. in 2023 and has been declining ever since. They say that the past year violent crimes has decreased by 26%, while overall crime has declined by 7%. They also point to a recent Department of Justice report, which revealed DC's violent crime plunged 35% between 2023 and 2024, putting it at a 30-year low. So what the hell is Trump talking about? The report showed that compared to the 2023 statistics, homicides dropped by 32%, armed carjackings by 53%, and assaults with dangerous weapons by 27%. So what is Donald Trump talking about? This downward trend appears consistent with declines being reported in other large cities across the U.S., according to the Council on Criminal Justice, aka the CCJ. So why is Donald Trump doing this? Well, the Criminal Justice Council also said that Washington, D.C. remains one of America's most dangerous cities in America. Washington, D.C.'s crime numbers have previously been called into question, they said. Why is that? Because according to the AP, and liberals love the AP, authorities are now opening an investigation into allegations that officials in D.C. altered data to make the city look safer. In other words, they're manipulating the crime numbers to make it seem like it's going down and not up or staying the same. But Mayor Bowser has backed the statistics and disagrees with Trump's claim over lawlessness in the district. She said on MSNBC Sunday, "We're not experiencing a spike in crime. In fact, we're watching our crime numbers go down." Then DC Attorney General Brian Schwab also hit back, claiming the Trump administration's actions were unprecedented, unnecessary, and unlawful. There's no crime emergency in the District of Columbia, he said. So what is Donald Trump talking about? During his announcement, Mr. Trump, aka President Trump, claimed murders in D.C. reached the highest rate in 2023, probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years, he said. While D.C. recorded 274 murders in 2023, the highest numbers in 20 years, data dating back to the 70s shows much higher homicide numbers in the city population. And the city population was much smaller then. Numbers spiked in the 90s to a high of 509 people murdered in 1991. So 500 murders is not okay, but 274 is acceptable. No murder should be acceptable. Despite today's lower numbers, Washington, D.C. continues to see very high homicide rates compared to the rest of the United States, according to the Center for Disease Control data, which shows D.C. had more murders per capita than any of the 50 U.S. states. But it's going down, Doug. It's trending down. Meanwhile, city-specific data places it fourth behind St. Louis, New Orleans, and Detroit. And gun violence remains a significant issue. In 2023, Washington had the third highest gun homicide rate among U.S. citizens and cities with populations of over 500,000. According to gun control advocacy groups, Every Town for Gun Safety, here are the facts. In 2024, Washington, D.C. saw a homicide rate of 27.3 per 100,000 residents. That was the fourth highest homicide rate in the country, nearly 6 times higher than New York City and also higher than Atlanta, Chicago, and Compton. If Washington, D.C. was a state, it'd be the highest homicide rate in any state in the nation, liberals and liberal Democrats. In 2012, the homicide rate in Washington, D.C. was just 13.9 per 100,000 residents. Washington, D.C.'s murder rate is roughly 3 times higher than Islamabad, Pakistan, and 18 times higher than that of the communist-run Havana, Cuba. The number of juveniles arrested in Washington, D.C. has gone up since 2020 each year, many of whom had prior arrests for violent crimes. There were 29,348 crimes reported in Washington, D.C. last year, including 3,469 violent offenses, 1,026 assaults with a dangerous weapon, 2,113 robberies, and 5,139 motor vehicle thefts. So far in 2025, in just 8 months, nearly 16,000 total crimes have been reported in Washington, D.C. There have been 100 homicides, including the fatal shooting of innocent civilians, like the 3-year-old Anis Shadid, a 21-year-old Capitol Hill intern, Eric Jamal. Vehicle theft in Washington, D.C. is more than 3 times the national average, ranking it amongst the most dangerous cities in the world. Carjackings increased 547% between 2018 and 2023. In 2024, they were triple the number of carjackings compared to 2018. These statistics are not only troubling on their own, but they also likely significantly understate the level of crime in Washington, D.C. Metro Police Department leadership are allegedly cooking the books to make crime statistics appear to be more favorable. Many residents don't feel safe reporting crimes. More than half of all violent crime in the U.S. goes unreported in the first place. Per WUSA TV in D.C., residents voiced frustration over rising violence, questioning the police stats, and demanding real action to make neighborhoods feel safe again, because they're on the ground watching their homes being robbed, broken into, watching their kids being kidnapped off the street and sexually assaulted, watching women being raped, watching drug deals and prostitution deals happening all over the place. Have you been to Washington, D.C. recently? I have. I go up there on a regular basis. I pack 24/7, especially when I'm in D.C., because I don't feel safe. I felt safer in Iraq than I did walking the streets of D.C. with my wife and a gun on my side. All that being said, in the minds of liberal Democrats, if you have a crime rate that is out of control, with, let's say, in a 12-month period, 500 people were murdered, 800 women were raped, 1,000 children were sexually assaulted, and 2,000 carjackings, but only 450 people are now being murdered, Only 750 women were raped. Only 900 children were sexually assaulted. And only 1,500 carjackings took place. Then crime is trending down, so there's no need to panic. Get the fuck out of here, you idiots. You're the problem that we have a problem. Well, tell that to all the murder victims' families, that crime is trending down, so why send in the troops? Tell that to all the rape survivors. Tell that to the parents of children who were abducted or sexually assaulted. And tell that to all those who no longer have a car because it was jacked or stolen. This is why the Democrat Party is losing every which way they turn. They have become the party that sides with defund the police, close down our jails, allow criminals back out on the streets, allow open borders, and basically side with every illegal and every criminal over law-abiding citizens. So good luck in the midterms. You're going to need it. Now, I want you to watch this quick little clip, and it's going to show you a little bit of their ideology. And it's going to end in a way that's going to cause a lot of controversy, especially with the left. And they're probably going to try and shut down my show for what I'm about to share with you. I bet you there's a bunch of liberals that, I know there's a bunch of liberals that watch my show, but I bet you a bunch of them are going to report tonight's show because of what I'm going to share with you. Just keep in mind something. At the end of this clip, it's not a white guy that's going to use the N-word. Nope. He's not white, although many of you may claim he is. So listen to this.
More police make streets safer?
No, Joe, I'm a black woman in America. I do not always think that more police make streets safer. When you walk down the streets of Georgetown, you don't see a police officer on every corner, but you don't feel unsafe. So what is it about talking about places like Southeast D.C., right? Ward 8, if you will, that people say, well, we need more officers to make us safe. I think we have to rethink what safety means in America.
One of the things that we have seen over and over from the president, from his team, Stephen Miller saying it's like Baghdad in Ethiopia. They seem to hold their harshest criticism sometimes for cities that are majority black and brown. Do you see that, and what do you think that means?
I think that I have been dealing kind of with this issue for a number of years. It's kind of easy fodder on the campaign trail. But now we're talking about governing, and my job is to focus on making sure our city is running well, and people enjoy a great quality of life. And I think we're doing a really good job. We do need the federal government's help, as I mentioned, because they have an outsized influence on our criminal justice system. We need more prosecutors. We need more judges. There are other ways to help. Even we want to rebuild our jail, and there are ways that the feds can help with that. But also just doing their part, cutting the grass, fixing the fountains, making sure that federal law enforcement is doing all of the policing that they can do. And I just have to say thank you to MPS, FBI, ATF, who've always worked cooperatively with us, and we expect that they will again.
I want to read you a text from someone who I won't say their name, but they're we'll just say that they're very liberal. And he says, this may sound controversial, but I'm not totally opposed to Trump's National Guard move in D.C. I know he's doing it for politics, but crime remains rampant. I've had too many friends carjacked, shot at. None of us will walk more than 3 blocks after 8 p.m. 13-year-olds are committing many of these crimes. Quite a change from a decade ago when things were much calmer. Well, that actually sounds like the D.C. that I lived in when I lived a block behind the Supreme Court. And, you know, every 3 days, one of my neighbors was getting held up at gunpoint. I mean, there has been a crime problem in D.C.
Now, however, I also talked to a relative of a young girl who was recently shot in the arm at a courtyard on the 800 block of Yuma Street. And she tells me that she welcomes this new executive order, saying that if President Trump can make the streets safer in D.C., she's all for it. As for that young girl, she had surgery today and she is still recovering at a hospital.
Oh, stop it. We are putting all kinds of resources onto the street.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Press release hailing the drop in crime rates at the end of it. What changed?
It's never enough. This changed. This changed. It's never enough. You tell these families crime has dropped. You tell the mother of the intern who was shot going out from McDonald's near the Washington Convention Center, oh, crime is down. You tell the kid who was just beat the hell and back with a severe concussion and a broken nose, crime is down. No, that falls on deaf ears. And my ears are deaf to that. And that's why I fight the fight. Thank you.
We've been talking so much about the numbers, and yeah, usually that's how you play devil's advocate, is you talk about, oh, well, stats say crime is down. However, I can tell you firsthand here in downtown D.C. where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks.
Keep in mind, that's liberal ABC News that's telling you this.
Down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau. So we can talk about the numbers going down, but crime is happening every single day because we're all experiencing it firsthand while working and living down here.
No, it's going to get people. Now, keep in mind, who are they arresting? Who are the people committing these crimes in these liberal cities? Sadly, they're black and brown. They're black youth, because it's an epidemic in our country, and it's illegal aliens, which are primarily brown skin coming from south of the border. That's just facts that the liberals and Democrats don't want to admit because, oh, if you say the truth, that makes you racist. If you say the N-word and you're not black, that makes you racist. But it's okay for black people to say the N-word all the time in rap songs, in movies, on podcasts, all over social media, on Instagram, on TikTok. The N-word is rampant with only one race. But if anybody else says it, it's racist. I've said it before. I used to be a former Democrat. Trust me, it's the most racist party that ever existed on the face of the earth. Now, the average Democrat out there today, voter that's trying to put food on the table and take care and raise his family and his kids, they're not racist. They're not saying the N-word. But the leadership of the Democrat Party and those that are the elders of the Democrat Party are a bunch of racist bigots. And I will take that to my grave. So yes, growing up as a Democrat, the word nigger was said on a regular basis. We didn't look at it as, at least in my circle, is a racist term because we called white people niggers. If you committed crimes and violence against innocent people, it didn't matter if you were black or you were white. you were referred to as a nigger. A person who did bad things was referred to as a nigger. That's how we did it. That was just the norm. Now today, so many people get offended by the word, so we say, oh, the N-word. We don't use the actual term, but the actual term is being used by the same people telling us that we can't use it. Make up your mind. If it's racist, and look, I'm an equal opportunity racist if you want to call me one. I hate white people as much as I hate black people or any other race that commits violent crimes against innocent people. If that makes me a racist, then I'll wear that with a badge of fucking honor. So listen up, liberals and Democrats, because this black man is about to tell you the fucking facts, and you're not going to like it.
People, man, I don't give a fuck. When you black, you can't even walk through your own fucking communities without somebody trying to fucking rob you, shoot you, kill you, take your life, fuck your girl. You got the fucking women in the community fighting each other over fucking other people's hair, robbing stores for other people's fucking hair, always showing their fucking bodies. No one's showing test scores. Huh? So you don't tell me they're talking bad about black people. Don't tell me I talk bad about black people. I talk about the bad shit that you niggas be doing. I don't never talk bad about black people. I stand up for them. I never and will never give an excuse for a nigga who's destroying his own community, who kills, rapes, and murders his own fucking kind. No, and I don't give a fuck who don't like it either. No one's gonna give you excuses. Every other race is fucking laughing the black American race. You know why? Because y'all want to be niggas. No one want to be black no more. Because being black means strong, and niggas ain't strong.
Look, there's facts, and then there's bullshit. What's happening in the inner cities of every major metropolitan city in America? Black on black crime. Black youth gunning each other down on the streets. It's a fucking epidemic. They're killing it their own race. They're destroying their cities. They move into a white community. The white people move out. This has been happening for years. Oh, well, that makes the white people racist. No, the white people are watching the black youth destroy shit and rob and do horrible things. A lot of that has to do with the black family breakdown and no fathers being around, and, you know, black guys impregnating 7 and 8 baby mamas, and then the black kids have no leadership, no male role model to look up to. And then they go out, they start doing horrible shit. And that happens with the white race too. It happens with all races. You know, the dad ain't present, then maybe he's in jail. Maybe he doesn't give a shit about raising his kids. Whatever, deadbeat dad. The kids end up on the street. They end up doing bad things. It's a product of their involvement. It's a product of what they've been forced into. It isn't their fault. They didn't grow up bad. I'm going to go rape and murder and do bad things. No, this was pushed onto them. So then all these cities where the crime is existing, let's just look at the facts. They used to be white cities, white areas of town, shopping malls, but people able to walk the streets, leave their cars unlocked, not worry about walking home from your 2 blocks away at night if you were a woman. And then the city turns dark and gets destroyed. And you have what you have today. A cesspool in every major metropolitan city in America, a cesspool that exists of this horrible, horrible crime. But if you call it out like I'm doing right now, and like so many other black people are doing, which is why Trump got the black vote this go around, and is continuing to have more and more black people go, Fuck the Democrat Party. Oh my God, Doug, thanks for telling us that they founded the KKK. Thanks for telling us that they founded Planned Parenthood to eradicate black babies. Thanks for telling us that they fought against Abraham Lincoln freeing our kind. Thanks for telling us that they wanted segregation. And thanks for opening our eyes, Doug, that in every metropolitan city in America where black-on-black crime is an epidemic and the black community is going to shit and becoming a third world country, that it's run by a Democrat. There aren't two sets of facts, my friends. There's one. One. But when you say what I'm saying here tonight, that makes me a racist bigot for telling you the truth. No, it doesn't. It makes you a racist bigot for turning a blind eye and not addressing the problem that we face in America. The black race and the white race, the American race, had a black president for 8 years who elected and put into place a black Department of Justice head. Not one, but two of them. How did that help the black race? How did that help the inner cities of America? I'm waiting. They didn't do a damn thing for the black communities in Atlanta, Chicago, DC, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Oakland, Philadelphia, you name it. Where the worst crimes in our society in America take place happen to be in areas of cities run by Democrats. But if I say that because I'm a white guy, that makes me a racist bigot. Well, if that's what you think, that I'll wear it with a badge of honor, because the real black people out there that actually give a shit about raising their family and putting food on the table and going to work, they have a problem with niggers. They have a problem with those that are committing horrible, violent crimes and making their race look like shit. They have a problem with that portion of their community making them all look bad. And then MSNBC and CNN and the liberal media out there and the liberal social media out there and the other liberal podcasters, they turn a blind eye to facts and they spin a bunch of bullshit to make you think that the white race is the devil. Just listen to Jasmine Crockett or Alihan Omar or AOC. In fact, Alihan Omar said, and I quote, "The biggest threat to America isn't terrorists, isn't illegal criminals, it's white men." Well, darling, white men aren't committing the most crimes in this country. The smallest population in terms of who's committing the crimes happens to be black youth. Why is that? I say it goes back to the family. No different than the white race. Take, for instance, Livingston Parish, Louisiana. I don't know if you know about Livingston Parish, Louisiana. Oh, it's the good old boy white society over there, trust me. Livingston Parish, Louisiana is a shithole. I know, I have property there. I used to live there. I have family still living there right now. Right down the street from my parents' house, I can throw a baseball and hit their fucking house. They got all kinds of shit out in the front yard that would make you think you're driving through a Confederacy museum. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. In fact, I'm the one that came out in support of stop this tearing down monuments. And, oh, for the love of God, the stars and bars, the quote rebel flag that you want to do away with isn't the Confederate flag. That's how dumb you motherfuckers are. That's the battle flag. That's not the Confederate flag. If I put the Confederate flag up right here, I could go on this show and do it for months and months and months, and nobody on the liberal side would notice anything about it. If I put the stars and bars there, I'm a racist bigot. Why? Because there were a few white people that did some stupid shit and killed some black people in black churches. And on their social media platform, they had the stars and bars on display. Therefore, that's racist. Therefore, we must take down all monuments to Confederate soldiers. Therefore, we must destroy everything that has anything to do with Confederacy. We must change the names of military bases, take away the names of Confederate generals they were named after. We must change the streets and the school names that were named after Confederate generals and Confederate leaders. Even though the United States of America, after the Civil War was over with and the VA came about, went in and actually gave benefits to the surviving spouses, widows, family members of Confederate service members. The left doesn't want you to hear that. They just want you to think they're a bunch of racists. It's a sad state of affairs when you can't speak the truth and facts, because if you do so, that makes you a racist bigot. Well, guess what? By wrapping your ideology around that makes you the problem, because you refuse to look at what's really happening. It's never going to be fixed. It's never going to be repaired if we can't call it out for what it is and stop sugarcoating it. Stop tap dancing around it. Call it what it fucking is, and let's go fix it. Let's get into these inner cities, Democrats, and fix that shit. Arrest these motherfuckers, get them off the streets, put them in fucking jail, stop letting liberal judges slap them on the fucking wrist and let them back out to go rape somebody else again, or hold up another liquor store, or shoot another brother in the street. What the fuck is wrong with you people? When the show is over with tonight, I guarantee you, I know at least 4 acquaintances of mine that are liberal and white, they're going to be texting the shit out of me as they do after every show. How dare you? How dare you? Oh my God, you went there? You bet your fucking ass I did. Because I'm sick and tired of watching you liberal Democrats act like a bunch of fucking morons, not look at the truth, and when Trump steps up to protect innocent people because of crime in a city and tourists that are just scared for their life to go to the Smithsonian, you act like, oh my God, Trump is committing this horrible crime, destroying our country because crime is trending down. Oh, so instead of 900 people being murdered yesterday, only 899 were murdered today, so therefore the crime's going down. You don't see how fucking stupid that is? That no alarm bell goes off in the back of your fucking head? That there's a problem here? I don't give a fuck if only 5 people were murdered in D.C. last year. That's 5 people too many. Do something about it. If the liberal Democrats refuse to do something about it, and it takes a Republican president to step in and say, fuck you, I'm sending in the National Guard and federal officers to clean this shit up. Why are you fighting against that? I can tell you why. Because you fucking don't stand with the American people and law-abiding citizens. You've proven it over and over and over again. Well, you keep pushing that narrative. The same narrative that caused you to lose this election a few months ago in a major freaking landslide. You lost the presidency, you lost the House, you lost the Senate, and when midterms roll around, you're going to be crying your liberal eyes out, wondering, how did this happen? You did it to yourself because the American people now have had enough of your shit, destroying our country and turning a blind eye to this crime rate and your political correctness, which is destroying us. And I leave you with this. The biggest problem we have, aside from what all we just discussed tonight, is our education system, where we have allowed liberal ideology to infect our school system from elementary, junior high, high school, and colleges, warping the brains of our students, teaching them that America is bad, that the flag is racist, that the Constitution needs to be rewritten. It's for old people that don't exist anymore, and it's not up with the times. No, my friends. No. Not on my watch. I'm going to continue, like I've always done, to speak out and tell you the truth. If you don't want to hear the truth, turn the fucking channel. Go tune into somebody that's going to lie to you. If that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. You can do that. I don't give a shit. But thankfully, I've been able to convince enough people that I'm happy with. And hopefully I can convince more. But when our teachers are allowed to get away to the degree that they have, as I speak, to convince our kids that Donald Trump is the problem, that Donald Trump is a racist, that Donald Trump is a bigot, that Donald Trump hates black people, that Donald Trump hates anybody immigrating to America, that Donald Trump is a Nazi, that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. And then the liberal media joins them in spreading that. For instance, I don't know if you fly, but if you do fly, you know exactly where I'm going with this. every airport in America that has passenger jets that land and take off with people on board have television sets, all in the waiting areas, all in the restaurants, all in the bars, in the airport, in the terminals. And what station are they tuned to? CNN or MSNBC. And they are a bunch of lying fucking hypocrites. And they're taking our youth that have been indoctrinated with this horrible shit and taking that information and just blasting it out there. And now today, and I know because I have family members that are turned against me and friends that have turned against me. And I hear from other parents that watch my show and say, Doug, my own kids no longer will support me, will no longer talk to me, no longer want to have anything to do with me. My own kids, because I watch your show, or because I supported Trump or I voted for Trump. The liberal media and our liberal teachers have done that to our youth, destroying the minds of our youth and filling their heads with a bunch of bullshit that they believe, like a bunch of little sheep, just walking in a straight line off that cliff. It's a train wreck that's unstoppable. I'm trying right now, currently trying to get some of my family members to realize that, number one, everything you're saying is not true. It's coming from far left media and it's not real. Here's the truth. Please look at both sides and then use your own fucking common sense to realize who's lying to you. And I'm not alone in this. I grieve for my own family members that have lost their damn minds. And I grieve for your family members because they've been taught by the schools and by the liberal media that Donald Trump's the bad guy, that conservatives and Republicans are the bad people. They've listened to all the spin that they've been told. And they're too fucking stupid to do their own homework and realize that they're being lied to. One thing about this show that people enjoy is I don't take sides with Democrats or Republicans or conservatives or liberals or Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or ABC, CBS. No, I take the story that I'm going to talk about, whatever that story. Here's the story. I take the story. I want to discuss this topic. Then I go and I look at how's it being talked about by Fox News? How's it being talked about by CNN, by MSNBC, by NBC, by ABC, by CBS, by the BBC? How are they taking that story and what are they saying about it? And then I go a step further and I do my own homework and my own investigation into that story. And then I take all of that with my own personal real life experiences and my age and my education and my former law enforcement work, former military work, traveling around the country, involved in all kinds of conflicts. I take all of that to take that one story and bring you what I see is factual. And sometimes I call out Republicans right here on this show, but the Democrats and the liberals won't acknowledge that. Sometimes I've called out Donald Trump right here on this show, but the Democrats and liberals won't acknowledge that. Sometimes I'll call out Fox News right here on this show, but the liberals and Democrats will not acknowledge that. All they will do, all they listen to, is when I say something negative about Democrats or liberals. The rest of it, they don't listen to. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 freaking times, and they don't hear this. So I say it again. I'm a former Democrat. My whole family were Democrats. We grew up in the South with my family members were Democrat congressmen, Democrat senators, a Democrat governor of my state. Democrats go way back in my family. Then I changed and I became a registered Republican years later in life. But technically, I'm really an independent. Because here's the deal. I could give two shits about your political party. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If we send you to Washington, D.C. to represent we the people, and you're up there fucking up everything, and you don't give a shit about us, the little people, and then you have a platform like I do, or even bigger like CNN or MSNBC or Fox News, and you're able to just spin shit and put it out there to hundreds of thousands or millions of people, you get where I'm going here? Facts matter. There aren't two sets of facts. And what people like is that if I get it wrong, and sometimes I do, I come back and I tell you I got it wrong. In the past, when I had a producer and I didn't bet any of this shit, I came on literally, I just clicked a button, boom, everything came on, everything was done for me. It looked like you were watching a real, you were watching Fox News or you're watching CNN. I mean, this program looked really professional. For those of you that remember when it started, the Douglas Ducote Show, it was something else, but I didn't vet none of that shit. Nope. And then I realized, fuck, I'm having to go back and correct shit all the time. Or I'm being told to talk about something that I didn't believe in. Or that I didn't believe was factual. Well, I don't have a producer anymore. I don't have all that stuff that I used to have. I do it all on my own now. And because of that, and because I want to get it right when I come on the air, I spend more time. This show only goes on for an hour. Sometimes a little over, sometimes a little less. Twice a week, that's it. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 to 9 Central. 2 hours. You know how many hours a day? At least 5 days a week, sometimes 6. I spend doing research for those 2 hours. Ask my wife that question. It's a full-time damn job, trying to find out what's the truth. So when I come on the air, I don't look like a fucking idiot. When I come on the air, you can take what's coming out of my mouth is 100% factual. And you can also count that if I get it wrong, you're going to either hear me tell you I got it wrong, or you're going to see it in the community section where I make a correction. And that rarely happens anymore. Because I believe in making damn sure I cross all my T's, I dot all my I's, that when I come on the air, what you're hearing from me isn't some spin bullshit from Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or any of the other media out there, Washington Post, New York Times. No. You're getting the facts, and the facts matter. Sadly, to a large percentage of our population, facts don't matter because it hurts their feelings. It's not politically correct. Well, you can take your feelings and your political correctness and you can shove it up your ass because I don't care anymore. I care about real American patriots that love this country, whether you served in the military or served in law enforcement like I did, or you're just an American, somebody that loves the flag, somebody that loves our Constitution, somebody that loves law and order, those that are proud to say I'm an American. That's who I care about. That's who supports me. The rest of them out there, if I can change a mind or two every now and then, or I can get people to wake up and see the truth, that's freaking outstanding. And I welcome them with open arms. And that's just how I roll. Folks, thank you for being here tonight. You had many places you could be. You chose to be here with me. And for that, I am forever grateful. I appreciate it very, very much. Again, whether you're watching me tonight on YouTube or Rumble or X, formerly Twitter, please like and subscribe to the show, to the videos, and share on all your social media platforms. Let people know the show's coming live before it does. Do a little bit of work for me. Only takes you a few seconds. And it helps. It helps spread this. More and more people are turning away from the mainstream news media and are tuning in to people that do what I do. And sadly, especially on YouTube, God, there are so many people from the right and the left that are lying their ass off to you. And it's sickening. And there's so many people that just suck it up like a sponge because they think it's the truth. And they don't do their own homework. And that's not good. I'll be back on Thursday night for another live show at 8 p.m. Central. I hope you will join me. Until then, as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. I plan to have a special guest on Thursday night. We're working out the details on that. I'm not going to tell you about it right this moment, but hopefully we'll get all that ironed out, and I'll be posting it in the community section in the next 24 hours so you know who that is. And I hope you will tune in because they have some wonderful things to say that's of very importance to all of us. Take care, everyone. God bless you, and I will see you on Tuesday night.